Welcome everyone to another video. For those of you who have liked and subscribed before and are now watching this video now because you hit the notification bell or you're just coming back to the channel, thank you. And for those of you who are watching the video for the first time, hello, welcome to my channel. Don't have much content, but the enthusiasm of my last video and how many views it got encouraged me to do this one. So if it keeps going, plus hopefully make some different content other than just this, and maybe we'll do some streaming, we'll get some gear. My wife bought me a little headset with a microphone and stuff in case it gets to that point, but we'll see. So for those of you who didn't watch any of my previous videos and have no idea about all of this, I'll give you a little bit on the backstory. It was in December 2021 that iRacing had the Delaire Dash, and Pimax was sponsoring it with the Pimax 8KX headset. Now, I always run the Dash, always have since like for years, like 6 years. Just love running the Dash, love meeting new people in the Dash. It's always fun. And during week 13, the competition gets pretty hot because all the big guys come in and run, so it's always a lot of fun. It can be a little bit hectic and like a crash fest, but sometimes they turn out pretty good and you get some pretty hot shoes that come in the Dash, and even now and then they still do. So after running the Dash, I ended up we'll kind of step back a little bit. So running the Dash, I ended up doing, I guess it was in December, yeah, did a few races in the new season, started at Charlotte, and I could win Charlotte pretty good, you know, without a problem. And I was sitting there looking at the screen waiting for another race to start up, and I happened to see at the side Pimax Delaire Dash. I didn't see that before because the stuff rotates on the side of the screen. Every time you click on it, there's something new. The UI is a little different because it does roll through and you'll see the sponsors at the bottom of the screen. But at that point, not using the UI, just using the web-based page, and happened to see that the Pimax Delaire Dash, and I thought, what the hell, something going on here. So I went in and checked, and it was the first time iRacing had ever done it with one of their giveaways, and it was the person with the most amount of wins in the Delaire Dash, and their whole thing was race champion, just race. So that's what I did, and I started clicking up wins, and all of a sudden I got the virus. So I was quarantined for like 20 days, so I really had nothing else to do. And the reason why I was quarantined 20 days, this was early in the virus, and if you were vaccinated, it was only like 10 days. You had to be like sequestered, and then if you weren't vaccinated, it was 20 days. So I really had nothing else to do but just go out and like keep winning and do the best I could. And by the time of the end of the season came along, from what I had calculated, I was well ahead in wins, and I got a notification congratulating me on winning the Pimax 8KX headset. Now we will back up again because I forgot to mention. So when I was looking at the little sidebar, I went in and I read it just before I got into the competition about the headset. And so I went in and ran a couple of races. The next day I went in and I said, I'm going to read this a little more because this is just like too good to be true that you just win as many races as you can and win this stuff. So I started reading into it a little more, and then I seen in the grayed out area it said MOZA Racing Bundle. And I thought, I'd seen MOZA before. I was looking on, just searching, looking for new gear because I'd had this G27 for a long time, and play seat, and just wanted to get something a little bit better, a little smoother, more modern. And I was doing some searches, and I had seen MOZA pop up at some point early, and then I seen MOZA Racing Bundle, so I started doing some research and found their website, and it wasn't nowhere like it is now. Beautiful website now, you should go there. I'll put the link below, mozaracing.com. So I read, and it was MOZA Racing Bundle, and I was like, oh my god, I can win this bundle, and then I don't have to like pay for something, and it's such a beautiful piece of kit too that they were offering. I was like, oh Jesus. I was more interested in that than I was the Pimax AKX headset. Sorry, Pimax, but true. And we'll get into that in a little bit as well. So I noticed they were giving away the bundles, so I just went in and raced my ass off. And like I said, I ended up winning it. After a couple of months, then I received all their product. Now in the bundle was the dash display, the CRP pedals, and the R16 base, and there's a steering wheel that went with it too, and we'll show you that in a sec. Well, probably see it up over there. It's the RSD shape. That will actually give it a little bit of a view there, and we'll go over the stuff that I've received from them. So yeah, that was it. And then after a couple of months of that, and on Facebook, there is the MOZA global community page, and you can, I'll put the link down below, you can come visit us there and join up, and you'll be able to hang and chat and see about all the other MOZA racing people. Yeah, so I'll put the link down below and you can check that out. And yeah, after being on winning the product, after winning the product, and after a couple of months and getting on the MOZA Global community page, I was asked to be a moderator. And then I think we only had like maybe 1,000 members or something like that. Now we're up to almost close to 8,000 members. So it's pretty busy there now. Just make sure everybody treat everybody well. Nice, no stuff like you find on other pages. We really try and keep it like a family, and it's necessary, you know what I mean? Like, to make everybody feel welcome, no matter how little or how much they're spending or whatever their rig is. It doesn't matter. You know, everybody wants to feel like family, and they do. And MOZA has also made me feel like more than family with them and their company, and I do appreciate it. Now, after being invited there, I do take a bit of time to moderate the page. It does take time now that it's getting more and more. And I try to help some people out with problems when they're setting stuff up and whatnot, but that's not really my detail. Stephen Baines is a great help, and you can always PM him. And there's also the Discord for MOZA Racing, and you'll find him on there. His name is Bainesy. And if you get on the Discord, there's a lot of people in there that are more than willing to help, and you can always learn exactly what's going on with MOZA right away, and even the rumors sometimes. You know what Discord's like. So back to this, and we'll get into it, instead of letting you guys just stare at the rig. Now, stick my hat on, and we'll shut down the dust eliminator. So we have, that's probably what you heard whirring in the background, was the air purifier to make sure that none of this stuff gets too dusty. So this is the RSD shape version 1, which I really like, because it is version 1 and they don't make it anymore, so it's kind of cool to have. And also there is a round, both either colored in Alcantara or leather and D shape in the round, and the D shape, and it's got a horn button, so if you're on like Drive BMG or something like that, then you can use your horn to honk at people. I think there is some stuff like that. And again, the carbon fiber shifter paddles, magnetic. Put a deadener on this one just to do the difference. One's louder than the other, and the quick release system. You've all probably seen this before. Boosted Media has gone over a lot of this stuff, but yeah, that's the D-shaped wheel. So we'll just leave this aside for now. Finally get to sit down. So, again, thanks for coming to the channel, and those of you who are still watching, appreciate it. And if you want to fast forward to stuff, I'm sure you can. Okay, so as you can all see, there's a hat right here. If we get to 5,000 views on this, and whoever comments below and puts the @MOZA Racing in their comment, and even makes a comment, you can. If you want to see something, a little bit more of something that I didn't go over or whatever, then we can always do that if it shows interest. But so anybody that comments down below and puts @MOZA Racing, and if you want to make a comment, you can, and we get over 5,000 views, as soon as we get over 5,000 views, then I'll give this hat away to some lucky person. And of course, I haven't worn it, so it's still got the liner on the inside, as you can see. So, and that uncovers the HGP Shifter, and the same thing with the brake. Now, I was going to do a little bit of a run on the brake and have it set up in the test drive, so we'll do that, and we'll do a little test on the MOZA shifter and also the handbrake. If you just bear with me for a second, I'm going to get a little drink of water before I get onto this, if you all don't mind. Okay, sorry about that. And again, MOZA's HBP Shifter and HBP brake. They were both just recently sent to me by MOZA Racing for doing moderation and getting people helped out as much as I can. Hopefully I'll be able to do more in the future. But it is a great pleasure working with them and being graced with their products. So no way am I affiliated as far as being bound to say anything by MOZA Racing. This is my own feelings, my own comments, and no way does it reflect the fact that I've been given this, because I'm always dead honest, and that's going to be good. Now let's get into the product a little bit, and with the handbrake, I've got it a little bit set at an angle on the rig, because then it gives me a better pull back than having it straight, and put a little bit of flex on the side, which you can see there is a bit of flex in it, but who in the hell's going to pull on it that way anyways. So yeah, just a nice light handle. The spring, I like the tension on it. There is a upgrade on the spring as well, and it's got a little rubber O-ring that actually at the end of the stroke on the handbrake, that it mushes up against that rubber O-ring and gives you a nice little cushiony feel as it does that, comes to the end of the stroke on the brake. And the shifter, as far as the shifter goes, some people complain about the noise, but hell, it's a shifter, man. You know, I'm sure there are other shifters out there that are pretty quiet and whatnot, but for the price and the quality that this thing is, I think it's pretty good. There is a small complaint that I do have about it, is that the tension on that spring can be probably a little bit stiffer for the lockout. I'm not sure if there's anything that MOZA will be able to come up with that will, you could pull this apart and put a stiffer spring inside. Maybe that could be offered as an upgrade kit, maybe, who knows? Because there is different upgrade kits for the SRP pedals and whatnot. So I think we'll show you a little bit more as far as the product. Now, as you can see, I just pulled that one off, and we're going to pull this other one off, which shows the GT wheel. Now, the GT wheel, I purchased a GT wheel from them, but they, at the first point, they gave me a really good deal on that. The GT wheel is crushed carbon fiber here, and the back of it here, as you've probably seen a lot of videos, the back of it is plastic and inside is a metal plate, so it is pretty strong. The only thing that I find that there's anything about this wheel at all is that the grips do creak a little bit, but you really don't notice it. It's not, it was just a minor gripe. And from what I understand, if you want to stop the creaking, you can just take them off and split them, and then put a bit of a white lube around where the seams join, make sure it's nice and clean, and then you won't get that creaking noise anymore, from what I understand. And now MOZA extended their graciousness by giving me this shifter and this handbrake, and be very careful with this guy, and the FSR wheel, which we'll just put it on and let you see how it displays, which I'm sure you've already seen in other videos. Oh my god. Yeah. But we'll do a little test run on that. And I want to thank again MOZA for that. Because I'll tell you one thing, I could never myself, with how things go in life, see spending that much money on all of this equipment. It is just, yeah, wouldn't have never happened. So, but I want to thank them very much. Now I use these to cover up for dust, and we just put them on nicely, so we started the video with this showing. But yeah, I put them on just to cover up dust. Now I know Parnell, I think it's Parnell, he does the pineapple grips. He's got bags that are made that actually slip over the wheel while it's on here, so you can have a cover for it. Now I'm thinking that MOZA could basically do the same thing if they just design their bag the right way, that it could fit on wheelbase and just zip up from the back. Would be perfect, and then they could have their own bag that they have in the equipment fit on the rig as a dust cover, or sitting off to the side on a stand. Now the stands that I got, which I didn't show you too much there, are Boyer by Design. And again, if I remember all these links, I'll put them down below and you can check them out. But Boyer by Design, he's the one that made those for me and sent them to me. And thank you very much for those two, by the way. Now we will stick this wheel on, because I think it matches more to the car that we're going to do a little test drive in. Now we're going to take it to Circuit de Spa, which is the Lotus 49, or no, sorry, Lotus 79. And we'll take it to Spa and we'll go a little run on the shifter. Now the dash stuff, if you're whatever one that you want to use, as far as like dash display. You just pull the bottom clutch paddle and you can cycle through the different dashes that are available, and they've actually increased some of the dashes that are also doubled on the FSR wheel so that you can have dual information on the wheel and on the screen as well. So, which I think is kind of good if you're not having any other displays around. There could be a couple of things that could happen with that, like I believe it's the race hub that you can link through to have a track map and stuff like that. Would really be nice to be incorporated in that. I don't know if MOZA will ever do that, but that would be really nice if they could. And I'd probably end up selling more of their product, I think, doing the same. That's just me. So not having any gloves on my hands. I'm like, WTF. So that means we gotta get. Sorry. Complicated business. And I just bought a cheap set of dirt paws. Cut the Velcro straps on because really Velcro those in your hand, they're not going anywhere. The only thing I find about these is that the seams on the inside, you tend to feel them a little bit. So I think like more of a go-kart glove, one of the inside-out gloves that they have that I've seen online are probably better if you want, to wear gloves and you want to keep your Alcantara in good shape or your wheels in good shape. It's always nice to have gloves on. For anybody who really doesn't give a care, bare hands are fine, I guess. So we'll go from here. Let's get on to the pit house software because we are going to use the shifter in this. Now, one thing I've seen lately, now we'll get on to theirs. You can see that the shifter is dark and the handbrake is dark. Everything else is lit up. There's lots more room here for more squares, so I'm sure MOZA's got some more product coming up. I'll have to stay tuned for that. Because there is so we will, because we're going to use the handbrake, and I will plug in, which is the, you can't see it over here, kind of down there is the hub, MOZA pit house hub. Now, I leave the handbrake unplugged. Now, you'll see how everything on here is now digital dash is not, device not connected. HGP shifter in app mode, but again it's not lit, and the wheel is also in app mode. Universal hub says it's in app mode, latest firmware. HBP handbrake app mode. So we'll go on to the hub. Now, as you can see, little UFOs flying around here, and like a car sitting on the moon, probably Elon's Tesla, or on a satellite maybe. It's landed on a satellite and there's UFOs checking it out. So it says interface 1, 2, 3, 4, and pedal interface, but it shows nothing there. No equipment access at this time. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's kind of always been the same, but it does allow the shifter to show up, and I've got auto blip set at 40%. I've got auto blip turned off in iRacing. That's the output. The duration, I've got it set at 150 milliseconds. Again, you can see you can go up and down with that. And handbrake, and you can also see it's connected, and you can change the output curve so it doesn't come on right away, so like a blend point. And there's also connectors in the back here to go straight to the hub as well, which is the way that this is hooked up now. And we will make sure that the steering's set up right, find out what we're at 980, maybe we'll turn it down a little bit. Go down to 720 maybe. And it's very nice, you can actually have a pad there and it fits in here. At some point I hope to get a button box, and I have a pad that fits in there, but it's over there right now, and that allows me to run the pit house without having to open up the site. So if you needed to do anything on the fly to try and tune the car as you're going along in the software, you can do that. So that's a little bit about what I see right now with the software and the hub being the way it is, but it doesn't take away from the way it works or anything like that, or hasn't at any point. Oh, looks like we gotta drop ourselves in this car a little bit. Seems like you have different seating positions in different cars, and I'm always gonna mess around with this. Down inside the car. There we go. And we'll move up the field of view a little bit. Matter of fact, I've never had a shifter before, so this is my first time using a shifter. I had one on the G27. I had one on the G27, but it was so plasticky I was afraid to use it and break it, because you just can't shift it hard. And you'll have to excuse me if I miss shifts or something like that. It's just because I haven't got any muscle memory when it comes to the shifter. But we'll see how it goes. And we'll get this off of here as well. So you're getting to see real life stuff, what's going on here, right? So we didn't select a gearbox. Had nothing to do with the shifter. Has to do with this idiot. Here we go. Let's change that height a little bit there, yeah. Savage! maybe sometime we'll do a little thing on the handbrake. That means we'd have to get into an off-road race, but I don't really have time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
There you go. MOZA HGP Shifter. And I don't see much problem with the lockout, although I do understand it's a little. It seems like once you get over to here, you really gotta concentrate on pushing it down. But if you're just resting your hand on it and shifting, you're gonna hit those gears. But the lockout seems to work pretty good for me. Good stuff. Well, this has come to the end of a rather long video. And again, if you liked what you watched, now you can stroke that like button on your phone or click it on the mouse. And if you have any questions or anything else that you want to see or want to ask about, I didn't go too much over the base, other than I will let you know that as far as the steering is just unbelievably buttery smooth. As you can see, some of my settings in the Pit House software, I've got them to where I enjoy to drive it, and I like where it is. And if you have any questions, please comment below, and I will try to make another video and follow up on any questions or comments that you have. Thumbs up. Awesome. Thanks for watching. And have yourself a great day.